So the Jim Carrey gun control video wasn't really about the Second Amendment. It was about Jim Carrey, a waning star embracing sanctioned targets to create the false front of intelligence, sort of like America's drone program. So it's fitting we began this Holy Week with Carrey ridiculing the late Charlton Heston, and now end with Jason Biggs tweeting predictable jokes about the Pope. There were 3. Trust me, they are forgettable, as is Jason. But Pope jokes are as old as the Pope, and by all means, you should make them. That's why our country's great, because washed-up comics have the right to suck. Based on that, Jason and Carrey are civil rights pioneers. They're the Jackie Robinsons of sucking. I love the First Amendment, and Twitter especially, for it exposes the soft underbelly of the celebrity simple mind. They undo everything their publicists try to mask. The mystery is replaced by the moronic. But really, Jimmy and Jason, if you want to create the illusion of edge, at least take a risk. Stop choosing targets approved by your sheep-like peers. The only people you're impressing are those paid to pretend you're funny, i.e. your dates and your agents. Which is why Jason thinks it's cool to hit the Pope but lacks the beans to do the same to Muhammad. It's why Jimmy attacks gun owners but not gangbangers. And it's why Jimmy mocked Mr. Heston but won't respond to me yet. I guess Jimmy thought he couldn't lose a debate to a dead man. That's what's really funny. He did. And now Charlton Heston has a brighter future in films than Jim Carrey.
Do not sell yourself short here. You got to him.
I know.
So
No, this guy, he issued a press release, which is basically a complete meltdown. This is what I love about this. Let me read one sentence that we have up here, and then I'll get to the funny parts. I'll just say this. In my opinion, F News, I won't say what it is the last resort for kind of, sort of, almost journalists whose options have been severely limited by their extreme intolerant views. Now, let me explain about extreme and intolerant. This is a guy that insulted most of America and danced on the grave of Charlton Heston. Jim Carrey is threatening in this letter, threatening legal action, something Charlton Heston can't do because Charlton Heston is dead. That was the whole point, to stand up for somebody who couldn't talk back to a fool like Jim Carrey. He first tweeted about this on Monday. Basically, what he said is that all gun owners are, I can't say the word.
MF.
And then he released this video, and then he retreated. When you tried to, he wouldn't respond. He hid like a little baby. I love it.
And then he retweeted all the compliments that he could get, and he ignored all of the criticism.
You're working PR. Should he have released this? This is embarrassing.
No, the thing is that, so it started, well, like all new like 21st century with a cute little parody video.
Yes.
And tweets, right? Because he said, you're not gonna like this. And then, in order to apologize, kinda, he issued an old-fashioned press release with like a dateline and everything. And if I were the press secretary, this young woman, or I don't know if she's young, I would have said, yes, of course, we will release that statement immediately, and then like pretended to and walked away and just like hoped it all went away by Monday.
By the way, Eric, he calls us bullies.
Yeah, bullies.
This is a guy that has called gun owners goons
and taking a shot at the dead guy.
Yeah,
you know? But F News is it's so childish.
It is.
I mean, if you read this whole, where can they find this? They go to the internet and find this.
Yeah, I guess.
You will laugh when you read this. What the mind of Jim Carrey. You know, when we first talked about this, you know, it came around to me. I said, you know, he was a bright guy. He was a funny comedian. He's lost it.
Yeah.
He's melted down. I just think he's just out there now.
Yeah.
You know, this is somebody, you know, when Bill Maher says something that we go after, Bill Maher is actually arguing on the merits for what he believes and the principles, and we might make fun of him for that or question it. But Jim Carrey doesn't even know what he was doing. He thought he was just going to get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows how to engage. I mean, my impression of Jim Carrey used to be that he was a very talented actor, but there's always something about him. It's like he doesn't want you to see the real Jim Carrey. So he uses what he thinks is comedy.
Right.
Which is, I mean, he calls us, what did he say? We have petty behavior. Can we put up the picture of him with the faux mustache and the cowboy hat? And we're petty, Mr. Carrey? But, you know, he can't make a salient point.
Yeah.
So he engages in behavior by demeaning flyover country. And by the way, Mr. Carrey, aren't you Canadian? So I don't know, maybe go back to Saskatoon. Oh, wait a minute. You might have to ridicule Canadians because they also might fall into that class.
I will say this, that last week when CBS guys responded to us, they apologized with some dignity, I think.
Yeah.
And This is, first of all, he says they don't. I would sue you guys, but you got no brains. You talked out of your arse. And your ass saying you're going to come sue us. Bring your arse, and we'll bring what little brains we have and see what happens.
I don't understand what he would sue for. He's the one he started it with the video.
He says viciously
slander me.
Yeah,
right.
Viciously slandered him. I would take them to task legally if I felt they were worth my time.
Hey, Bob, I want to bring...
Honestly, I retract everything nice.
Everything nice.
I apologize. I want to bring up the Jason Biggs. One of them. I can't read them all to you, Bob, but this is what he said about the Pope. You know, the Pope had went and kissed the feet of inmates, and Jason Biggs tweeted, "Ugh, fine, give me the effing feet." Quoting Pope Francis after being told he could no longer kiss his preferred body part.
What?
So what he suggests.
Well, first of all, to do that in Holy Week is beyond the pale. Beyond that, what the Pope was doing was what Jesus taught him to do, to be a servant. I'm your servant, he said to these kids. And that's why I'm doing this. And to make fun of that from I don't know who this jerk is. I never heard of him before. Might say something about it.
The Pope is known for reaching out to the poor and carrying on the mission of Christ. Jason Biggs is known for sticking his wiener in a pie.
Yeah,
okay,
that was him?
Yes.
Hey,
That's
Jason,
him, Dana. A man of substance.
But
hey, Jason, come kiss my feet.
I'm glad you said feet.
Yeah. How this could be the lowest thing I've ever. He insulted. How's this? He insulted. I don't know, 1.2 billion people around the world with it. Honestly. You go after the Pope. The man's a holy man. He's devoted his life to his...
But he wouldn't do Muhammad, would he?
No,
he wouldn't do Muhammad because he doesn't have the cojones.
Is it a cry for attention? Is that... It's like they're desperate because their careers are flailing, and so they need some kind of attention. But when they do this stuff, they're silencing
He
debate.
works for Nickelodeon, by the way, a children's network, Jason Biggs.
Does he still work
It's
for
a
them?
cry to get out of $5,000 a night venues so he can get back to make some money, but it ain't going to happen. It's going to 1,000 next week, big boy.
Yeah. Well, I just remember when celebrities were actually cool. Remember the Steve McQueens and the Clint Eastwoods and the James Dean. They did cool things, but now they're so predictable and so stupid.
And sad.
And sad.
And very sad.
Very sad. Well, there's some great ones.
Are they all trying to raise the bar on each other's ridiculousness and vicious, disgusting attacks on
they're probably thinking right now,
religion and
what
people?
can I do that would be so preposterous this weekend that I could be attacked by Fox News next week and get all this attention?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. All right.
Bring it on.